Welcome to, I guess, Above the Yellow Line, not live, but Above the Yellow Line, and we're going live. We were just at the track literally all day covering some NHRA action all weekend long. Of course, you know me, I'm Taylor Kitchen. You know these two as well, Adam Lucas, Dom Joseph. And as we were watching all of the NHRA action unfold, be on the lookout for more content this week from all of us. We were also watching everything from Talladega. So we're going to talk about that here. So if you all have comments, questions, things like that from Talladega, let us know in the comments and we will pick those out and chat with them. But I think the obvious thing to start off with is the winner. So spoiler alert, in case you're not up to speed yet, Austin Cindric wins the Jack Links 500 at Talladega. Penske finally able to get it done at a super speedway. Adam, what's your take?
About time. Whew, took a little while.
Yeah.
Finally feels like they had the monkey off their back at the super speedways. A lot of strategy from what we were seeing today played a big factor in getting those Penske Fords to the front and staying at the front.
Yeah, I mean, to second that for sure. No, great race. And finally, we can get a race where it's not just a melee, where we just see all kinds of crashes over and over again. We can't get a rhythm going. It was long green flag runs all race. And that was kind of refreshing to see for a super speedway. And I mean, in retrospect, the final 10 laps were epic.
Yeah.
And that's awesome because the racing was so good all the way to the end. I know people are probably going to complain because there are only 2 lanes and your fate was kind of sealed from there, but it all comes down to what are you willing to do? And I think everyone just felt they committed to their line, and the rest is history. And congrats to Austin Cindric and Team Penske.
I mean, in my opinion, the worst take I've seen online is the end of this race was horrible because it was green to the finish. I'm like, the best thing we could have this season after having just weird moments at these super speedway type of tracks is just having a weird caution and somebody who just wasn't a factor all day wins it. I personally am happy with how this race played out. Was it the most exciting thing? Maybe not to some people, but the fact that we completed the race at its scheduled length under green with a finish that was clean, I'm personally very happy about that. Now, I know for a lot of you, this race was a little frustrating when it came to those long green flag runs. A part of me was like, okay, we'll see how the fans react to this. And I've seen from a lot of you, and maybe in the comments, you guys can chime in on this too. Some of y'all thought it was maybe a little bit boring, maybe a little bit more of a tame race for Talladega. I know there were some issues with commercials, cutting it pretty close at the end of the broadcast, which trust me, we were all frustrated with that too. But nonetheless, I mean, Alex says this too, the Super Speedway package needs some work. It was way too challenging to pass today. Also, into the race with all the commercials was awful at the end of the race. Yeah, no, I mean, we can talk about this all day long, but it's embarrassing. To be quite honest, you want the fans to be able to experience the finish of these thrilling, or hopefully thrilling, super speedway races, and you're throwing it to commercial with less than 10 to go.
Yeah, they went to commercial break with 9 laps to go and came back right as they were taking the stripe to 5 to go. And, the final 10 laps is the commentators' opportunity to really hype up what's going to be a great finish to a race, and you just take that away from them. It's a shame. I mean, I know they're long laps at Talladega. I get it. I mean, you could even argue you can get away with it at the road course, but you should make it a rule that the final 10 laps should all be commercial free. But
it should be a given. It should be a given.
This is the most exciting part of the race,
right?
Especially with this type of car and this package that we have currently. The last 10 laps, that's when you're going to get it done. And if you don't, you're going to pay for it.
I mean, when you have a commercial at that point, it breaks the action, the suspense that's built up at Talladega, Daytona, even now Atlanta, where the suspense builds and builds and builds, and all of a sudden you're like, okay, like who's going to cross the line first? Are we going to have the big one? It cuts that all completely. So I hate it for the fans completely. You go back to looking at the results as a whole. Obviously, like we said, Austin Cindric getting the win in second place. Ryan Preece kind of feels like these tracks owed him one after just getting pummeled and spun and everything in between. But a great result altogether by Ford, quite honestly.
Yeah, they needed this for sure. Long time coming for that team. Josh Berry won Las Vegas. But, we were talking about this earlier. Austin Cindric was the one that broke the streak for Penske last year. He was the first one to win at a Gateway, and then it was every 2 weeks we got a Penske win. So watch out in Kansas maybe. But no, cool to see Cindric win again. But like you said, Ford needed this.
Yeah.
big shot in the arm for them. They definitely needed some momentum. We're, especially being a third of the way through the season, we're about to hit the summer stretch. This is where you really start to see who are the real movers and shakers and who are the pretenders.
Yeah, and when we talk about, Ford getting this momentum, I know we're seeing in the comments, we do talk about Penske and Ford a lot, but besides that, I mean, Penske led 68% of the first 2 races of the season with nothing to show for it. So the storyline going into this is, can they finally have something to show for it? Can the Fords kind of pick one up? And they did. Now, earlier in the race, we saw some Ford drivers kind of get taken out. An incident with Brad Keselowski, Kyle Busch, trying to go to pit road. Looked like there was some miscommunication, misunderstanding as to what was going on there, and ultimately took Brad out, took Ryan out, and then Chris was able to recover from that, and then got taken out in a later incident and was clearly very frustrated by that as well. But so again, positives for Ford, some negatives for Ford. Let's go to third place finisher Kyle Larson.
Yeah.
He finished in the top 5 in both stages. Stage one. I mean, this is a huge win for that 5 team. Huge.
Along with he broke, I believe, Truex's record for most stage wins in Cup Series now. So kudos to him for that.
Yeah, this is huge for Larson because he is very immediate to say super speedway tracks are not his thing.
Yes.
He's just had the worst luck there, and he doesn't shy away from it. And he says, I believe in myself to get wins at other tracks. It's more so just surviving Talladega, Daytona, Atlanta, and just moving on to the next week. But this is huge for that team, and that's valuable points. I know they've already got their wins. They're not really counting the points, but when you're battling for positions at Martinsville later this year, they could come in handy.
Yep,
that's true. So you have Kyle Larson in third, fourth William Byron. And I did see a comment here. Frustration that maybe Larson or Byron didn't make a move, but we talked about this. Literally, it started the show and earlier in the race. I think I'd rather have a clean finish to the end than people junking each other and somebody from 10th on back just can go through and win the race. But I don't blame them for not making the move. It's, take the solid finish and go forward with points or risk getting junked. I think for me personally, I think it was the right move. But yeah, Joey Logano 5th, 6th, Noah Gragson. Again, another great day for a Ford
It was
driver.
a strong day for front row. They were consistently in the top 10 with multiple cars.
Zane Smith with his first career pole. Fantastic to see that. And obviously, Farmer Motorsports has a great super speedway program. Seeing that continue with a newer driver lineup, of course, Todd Gilliland now taking that flagship car over with the 34, but seeing that continue is fantastic. You have Chase Elliott in 7th, 8th, Carson Hocevar, 9th, Alex Bowman, and 10th, Bubba Wallace. Anyone we want to talk about inside that top 10 before we get to some of the comments here?
I'll say for the Hendrick Motorsports argument, why didn't you do anything? You got to look at who the 2 guys in the front were, and that's Kyle Larson, William Byron. These are 2 guys that have already won this year. And Kyle Larson did not have Hendrick help behind him or Chevy help behind him. It was Joey Logano.
Yeah.
Now, Byron had his teammate Bowman, and I'm kind of interested, but Adam brought up a really good point. And if you look, let's say they make the move and go to the outside. Priest has 3 Fords behind those 2 Hendrick cars that were going to go right to him and help him. So I could easily see the 24 and the 48 get freight trained if they don't catch that 60 by surprise quick enough. But then you come to the argument of, well, is the 48 who needs a win willing to push the 24 who already has a win?
That's true.
But they're also teammate. There's just a lot. And you got to remember, they're making these decisions as the race is going on.
Yes.
And they're still going 190 miles an hour. So kind of a little bit of slack, but also you would imagine a team of Hendrick Motorsports caliber would have had a game plan for this situation, but who knows?
If this was the fall edition of Talladega. Who knows what could happen? Who knows what could happen?
I mean, for this race, it really is come home with a clean race car, do the best you can points-wise, and go forward. Now, Talladega in the fall, that's going to earn you a spot.
Yeah.
In what, the championship for this time? Is that what it is?
It's a round of 8 race.
You are going to wreck whoever it is to get that, which, again, scary. Don't really love that with the win in your own mentality there because it means a lot at that point. But again, I think we're going to see totally different races from this weekend to what we see in the fall, especially, of course, temperature-wise. It might be a little cooler in the fall.
You know who's really happy this weekend? the team owners, because they saved a lot of
Yes.
money
Yes,
this weekend.
yes.
I was like,
They saved a lot
They
of
saved
money
a
for
lot
the
of money.
first time. I mean, I know RFK, RCR, they've got some damaged cars. Penske as well with Blaney.
Yeah.
We did have some wrecks, but man, for what the alternative is, a lot of money saved. But I know it's about the fans.
yeah.
They want to put on a show, and the fans want to see the wrecks. But this is beneficial for the teams. Save some money this weekend.
It is. And this is really a race to build your playbook, right? When we have 2 races at the same track in one season, you're really using the first race of the year to kind of build on that playbook to figure out what you need to either win the race or at least get the best finish you can, depending on how far off you were for when we go back in the fall. So Matt says he was on the grounds working there. You can't fuss about it. Can't fuss about it because it was a clean, straight up finish. And that's what I can respect about it too. This is something to mention as well. Anthony Alfredo for Beard Motorsports led 5 times for 19 laps. I mean, when they bring that 62 to the track at these super speedway events, you can expect it to lead some laps or at least do pretty well. And you to look at where he ended up finishing this race here, but always good to see Anthony Alfredo in that vehicle. Finished 30th, unfortunately, so a little far back there, but
Always have rocket ships out of Beard.
yeah.
They have always consistently brought rocket ships to whatever tracks they go to.
Yeah, and I don't know if it was a pit cycle that caught them out or if it was quite literally just
might have missed that.
It just was the ending.
It
Yeah.
could
Yeah.
also just be the shuffle,
Yeah.
and it's
Yeah.
who do you want to have in front of you, who do you want to have behind you, and he's a single car team, so
True.
it's all you only have so many friends.
True. Before we get to the rest of your comments, I do want to mention right now a shout out to Happy Hour Racing for being a great partner of ours. They have officially licensed IndyCar, Formula One, and NASCAR merchandise. And as you're gearing up for the Indy 500, the Coca-Cola 600, and Monaco this year, you want to get all of your merchandise. Make sure you're ready to cheer on your favorite driver. We'll definitely be wearing some of their gear when we go to the 600 this year. So make sure to go to happyhourracing.com/ATYL. And we actually have a giveaway going on with them that ends this coming week. Go to abovethelowline.com/giveaway to learn how to enter that. Go to our social media pages. We should have it there, but you could have the chance to win some Benzik Designs 3D printed die cast stands. You don't want to miss out on that. So again, abovethelowline.com/giveaway to learn more about that. Thanks to our partners, Happy Hour Racing, and of course, Benzik Designs. But let's kind of get back to business here. AJ England, it was awesome to see AJ this weekend at the NHRA event. Was a huge help to us, kind of ushering us in to covering that for the very first time. So we appreciate him. He said something about a third win begins to solidify Cindric. Fans who say he is a fluke have a more challenging argument to make moving forward. And the way he's won, of course, one was Blaney ran out of fuel. He kind of stole the win. You see his Daytona 500 win. You see this win, but something needs to be said too, just in general. He is gaining momentum. He is gaining consistency, and it's fantastic to see Cindric, an Xfinity Series champ, kind of putting in the numbers finally in Cup.
Adam?
I love seeing it, especially being a Cindric fan for a long time. Followed him when he raced road courses strictly. Yeah. So seeing his transition from doing strictly road courses to ovals and super speedways and just everything that NASCAR throws at him. It's been a great ride. And yeah, I think it really does solidify that he belongs in NASCAR and that he has a bright future ahead of him.
Mm-hmm. And, it's one thing to hold on to the lead and win the race in a absolute drag race against Ryan Preece, just a battle of the pushes there at the end.
Yes.
But all credit should go to that crew chief and that pit crew. Great strategy. Let most of the Fords pit first and then do another lap and go again. And that's what got them out front, in front of the other Penske cars, in front of the Toyotas, and ultimately to the win. And, the Hendrick cars pushed hard to get by, and Cindric did a great job playing not only defense, but taking the pushes from Kyle Larson, keeping that car straight. Larson was pushing as hard as he could and knows if he can get clear of the car on the outside, he's going to make a move. And Cindric was ready for all that and ultimately was able to beat Preece straight up side by side for the win. Yeah.
Ultimately, like I said, again, I'm glad there was a clean finish to this race.
Yeah.
Ultimately, it was neck and neck, and Cindric was just in front of Preece when it came to the line. I mean, ultimately, you can't ask for anything more, but I also know we can
Yeah.
with the product that we've seen at the super speedways. And I did a whole video about this on Denny's comments regarding the Gen 7 car at these tracks and why they're performing the way they are and the frustrations. So make sure to go watch that video, kind of talking about the issue with downforce on this car, some of the things that NASCAR tried to test with the Gen 7 car, what they noticed. But that kind of goes into play of what we're seeing here at our super speedway racing, where it's very, very difficult to pass. Other comments about this before we kind of dive into more comments from you guys in the chat. If you guys have anything you guys want us to talk about from this race, let us know. But yeah, any other comments about Talladega?
Safety. Let's talk about safety with the way Xfinity ended yesterday and with the Christopher Bell crash today.
Gosh.
2 brutal hits to the interior wall.
Yeah, no,
very scary.
Very, very scary crashes. We'll talk about Christopher Bell's here first. Just a push gone bad from teammate Denny Hamlin, which I don't want to say it's rare to see Denny make a mistake at these tracks, but it just was a very odd thing to see, especially they weren't totally at speed yet, just came from a restart there, and just a bad push exiting the corner, and Bell just slams the wall head on. Luckily, he was okay. He said after the race, he didn't fault Denny. I mean, you're at a super speedway race, you're going to have to push, but my God, am I glad he was fine.
Yeah, 100%, hard hit for Christopher Bell. And yeah, you could kind of hear from Denny, like how shocked he was that all happened. Like you said, he's so good on these drafting tracks.
Yeah.
This is a rarity for him to have an incident like this. So caught him off guard. And sure enough, obviously hate it for Chris Buescher too. He was caught up in the wreck. Nothing he did wrong. Just that was Christopher Bell coming across the racetrack out of control.
Yep.
So unfortunate for Buescher. Tough break for that team and RFK. Just a tough weekend for them in general. To have 2 cars wrecked and then just barely lose the race to Austin Cindric. That's unfortunate, but yeah, glad Christopher Bell's okay. It was a hard hit.
Yeah.
And he seemed to understand it's just a racing deal. And I've got 3 wins in the bank. Let's move on to the next one.
Yeah. And then the scary incident from the Xfinity series is Connor Zilic. His best friend, Jesse Love, kind of gave him a bad push, and that was scary, and Jesse went to check on him in the infield care center. Connor Zilic ultimately said he's fine, just woke up today a little sore, but thankful for the safety innovations, because that was tough. We watched that one over and over, and we tried to see the helmet moving in the car, and my God. So again,
violent hit.
Safety, and from the calm way that this race ended at, I would say not even air quotes, it's just the calm way that this race ended today at Talladega versus what we had Saturday for the Xfinity series. 2 very different vibes. Very different. But then Austin's this weekend.
Yes,
oh my God.
Lots of Austin.
It was the weekend of Austin's.
How about that?
Austin Hill, I'm just going to say stole one.
Yeah.
Stole one in Xfinity, kind of, sort of.
Fair.
Yeah. Yeah, but man, I mean, it's talk about Thanos with the Infinity Gauntlet. You just kind of feel like Austin Hill is that way with these super speedway tracks. I mean, he is just inevitable there. Whether you like him or not, you cannot deny whether it's luck or skill. I think it's a bit of both here.
Yes.
But Austin Hill, my God, just the seas part for him every time.
They sure do. It's the skill set that he can be right at the front competing for the lead, and then something magical happens where he just gets the dub. It's incredible.
It really
I'd
is.
rather be lucky than be consistent.
I mean, at these types of tracks, it's very hard to be consistent.
And with the win and you're in format, I mean, hey.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be the prettiest win.
Yeah.
A win is a win.
Yeah, he's got 13 career wins, and if you look at his win list, Atlanta's his best friend.
Oh, yes.
He wins at Atlanta all the time.
Yes.
And of course went 3 in a row in the Daytona opener, which ironically, his first career win in Xfinity was 2022 at Daytona, and that was a weekend of the Austins.
This is true.
This isn't the first time we've seen this. But no, dominates the Daytona races, dominates Atlanta. This is his first Talladega win. I thought that was very interesting. I figured that would be on there somewhere, but 13 wins, first one at Talladega this weekend. But it's just another tip in the cap for the 21 team at a super speedway.
Now, I do want to bring this up because we make predictions at the beginning of the season and we keep track of them. And Adam, you marked off a prediction today with Cindric's win.
I sure did. I said that he would get a win before Ty Gibbs got his first career win.
So there you go.
Ta-da.
There you go.
Prediction, check off.
So do we have any predictions for Cindric moving forward? I know it's kind of hard to kind of gauge, maybe where that team is at and things like that. But do we see him maybe winning again this season? Any good shots for that 2 team?
I mean, we've got another Atlanta, we've got another Daytona. And
Yeah.
that's really the easiest way to put it, and another Talladega as well. So,
And we also have road course season coming up as well.
This is true. This is
it
very
all
true.
just
Always a
depends.
threat.
It depends on the trend of Ford performance.
Yes.
I think is the main thing, because we've seen Team Penske do well with Blaney and Logano, and Cindric is the one, unfortunately, that is stuck trying to keep up with them. We'll see if that changes this year. I think it definitely could. He's got the talent. He's 2020 Xfinity Series champion, has a lot of wins in Xfinity, has a truck win, has cup wins. So he knows how to do it. He's not new to this. So I believe in the 2 team, but again, we'll just have to wait and see.
And for those of you that still have more questions, comments, concerns about Talladega, please keep putting those in the chat. I want to shift gears here a little bit from oval racing to drag racing a little bit. We were invited by NHRA to come out and cover the event this weekend in Charlotte for the 4Y Nationals. And this was all of our first experience with drag racing and really just getting into the sport. And we we were really like put in the face of fire. I mean, baptism by nitro.
I was gonna let Adam say it.
Yeah.
We were baptized in the nitro.
Oh my gosh. It was
Oh my.
Like, for those of you who haven't been to an NHRA race here and just haven't experienced that, we were literally by the starting line for this whole event. And they were like, hey, we're gonna have you stand here, just experience it for the first time. We didn't know what to expect. We've heard how loud it is, but when you couldn't feel it, your whole body shakes. Your eyes water because of like the nitro and the fumes that's in your nose. Like, you see videos of it and people are not kidding. It's intense. It's cool.
What I found so insane, and because like for my entire life, if NHRA is on, I'll put it on, but I'm not paying attention. It's like, oh, they're just going in a straight line, so whatever. You have to get out and experience in person. It is so surreal. All of your senses will, like, everything will feel something from your head to your toes. You're gonna feel it.
Yeah, it's incredible. It's absolutely incredible. I know it's on Fox right now live, so we won't spoil. We won't spoil the ending for you. But yeah, it is unlike anything I've ever experienced. It's it was a lot like my first NASCAR race, where you really finally comprehend what that speed looks like, and it's incredible. But yeah, the power off the start line is again I know we have to have WWE fans in the chat. As John Cena said, ruthless aggression is the easiest way I can describe it. If you see the Ron Capps interview that we have out, he has a good word to describe the NHRA that we can't say on here.
No.
Perfect.
It's perfect. Yeah, it really is. It's incredible. Just the whole buildup for the launch too, where they do the burnout to put heat in the tires, and you get that first sense of, oh, that's how loud these things are. That's how loud these things are. And just how close everyone is to the cars, always working on them. And that one last thing that I love is when they line them up right before they get to the tree, is that last point that the crewman gives the drivers, like, it's on you now, buddy. Yeah. We've done our work. And then you see the launch, and it's just incredible.
I mean, I think I speak for all of us here. It gave us a brand new appreciation for drag racing, and this is coming from unbiased. I know NHRA invited us out. I get it. But this is coming from a pure, genuine place of, like, this opened my eyes. I used to see NHRA on TV, and I was like, I just don't get it. I just didn't think it was fun or cool, but it's one of those things where you have to experience it to truly know and feel what this means, not just to the drivers and the teams, but to the fans too. I think the one thing I got out of this weekend, of a lot of things I got out of this weekend, was just the community around it. It is a very tight-knit community. The sportsmanship within NHRA is insane as well. The history, the camaraderie within it is insane too. And we love getting to talk to Bob Tasco. It was great catching up with him actually before the race too, and talking about the interview we did with him yesterday on our YouTube channel now. Same thing, and Facebook as well, I should mention. And also talking to Ron Capps. Oh my God, like that was crazy. Such a fun interview. He was very, very candid in that, super funny. But both drivers great to talk to. And of course, we had Ida Zetterstrom on our show last week, kind of previewing this weekend. It was great to see her back in the car this weekend. But my goodness, it was so cool. I'm excited to hopefully go back. I should be going back in the fall to cover that too. But it was crazy. Drag Racing Mayhem commented on this and said, we NHRA fans appreciate it. Cool to see other motorsports fans catching on to it. And that's the thing too. It's, I do want to say as well, just a kudos to NHRA for creating this content creators program. I mean, we see other motorsports trying to do something similar, working on something similar, or already kind of instilling something like this. But they really brought us in and welcomed us with open arms. Anything we needed, we got. Any content that we wanted to get, you got. And it was I cannot overstate enough. It was a welcoming environment. And I am so excited to go back later this year. There's another race that's close by. I want to go back, but even to getting to watch the final, the Top Fuel from the stands. I went out to the stands to watch that one. That was crazy. We won't spoil who was in that final
spoilers,
match.
But whoa.
It's just like, again, but it's
My God.
for our NASCAR fans, like the whole build up to them pushing the dragsters onto the grid and then engine starts, like it was a overtime restart feel.
Yeah.
You know, this is it. It's on the line right here. You have done your runs all weekend long for this run right here.
Yeah.
And you could just feel, it was so tense. It was so cool. And just to see all the excitement from the winners, just to see what it means to win any drag racing event, just to see how hyped they get. And because Bob Tasca made a great point. It's 95% team, 5% driver.
Yeah.
And it's like they
really
deserve
is.
to celebrate as much as they do because of what they do to make those cars.
And you don't see that emotion. I don't want to say you don't really see it in NASCAR as often, but literally every time somebody goes P1 in qualifying or something like that, or they top the charts in qualifying, the team's celebrating. And they might be in like Q1 as opposed to Q4. And I'm like, it's like everything is a win to them. And seeing, I think for me too, something that was important to me is just the diversity in NHRA as well. You could be 90 years old, you could be like 20 years old, and you could have a chance to win. Like you guys said, it really does go to the team for most of this. But these drivers are, I mean, they're adrenaline junkies.
Oh boy, are they ever.
It is insane what they do. And you don't realize that until you're there and you feel like, you feel the power, like legitimately your bones shake.
You feel the power throughout your entire body. And that's not just the nitrous oxide talking to you.
No,
it's
no doubt.
Everything.
Yeah.
Everything.
Now I want to ask you guys, did you have a favorite driver maybe from NHRA this weekend? Somebody you were like, that person's pretty cool. We might all have the same answer just after interactions
I'll let you
this
go
weekend.
first.
But
I mean, because the NHRA did post about this already.
They
So
did.
I feel like
They
I'm
did.
okay. I watched Brittany Force break a world record this weekend.
God, they're so cool.
And
They're so
insane.
cool.
Number one, obviously it's a family business. So obviously we all know John Force.
Yeah.
And Brittany goes out there and just puts down a monster of a speed.
Oh my God.
The loudest of loud pedals ever.
Yes.
And I think from there I was like, okay, that's pretty cool.
Yeah,
Obviously, the NASCAR fan in me, I was pulling for Tony Stewart too.
Yes.
So just cool to see Tony again at the racetrack.
Yeah.
It's a different Tony.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
This is not the Tony Smoke Stewart we knew. This
Yeah.
is a completely new Smoke.
Yeah. And he's still bad fast.
He's so
He still got it.
Which is just incredible.
Yeah.
Yeah. You have to remind yourself as they're going down the strip and one of those cars is competing for the top positions in each round. It's like, oh, that's Tony Stewart. So it's incredible.
Yeah.
But I would say I'm partial to Brittany Force.
Honestly, Ron Capps. I'm
Ron's
partial
cool.
to him. Got to do a lot of cool stuff with him back behind the scenes, and just very welcoming,
The nicest
very
guy.
personable.
Nicest guy.
He is absolutely a salt of the earth type of person. If you needed something, he's got it for you. Or if not him, his team. It's really incredible just how welcoming they were.
Yeah, I think for me, I can't pick just one. I mean,
Yeah.
the interviews we did with Bob Tasca and Ron Capps were incredible. Learning more about Bob was like super fun, and he gave us some great answers in the interview too.
Yeah.
He's a pilot. That's something I didn't know, but getting to know him more was fun. I think just the swagger of Austin Prock is just unmatched.
gosh,
It's
yeah.
unmatched. I mean, he knows, he's confident, and he knows it, and left and right, that team is just phenomenal. And just, I feel a little partial to him, just knowing the success in his family history and the sport too. So those are three drivers. Obviously, Brittany Force, though, legendary. We also really love Ida Zetterstrom too. So, I mean, every single driver has a cool story. Every single driver is very personable and is very interactive with the fans. And you see that in NASCAR for sure, but this is very much on a different level. I almost, if you guys have gone to an IndyCar race, and I'm thinking about my experience at Mid-Ohio, it reminded me of that, where it's a bit more relaxed.
Mhm.
You see the cars getting pushed to the grid, or if I should just say the grid here, I guess. And it's kind of that same relaxed nature where the drivers are just able to approach the fans, feel comfortable doing that. And Ron kind of goes into this in our interview that we did about kind of the differences between kind of the NASCAR and NHRA kind of feel and vibe, and kind of some of the reactions he's gotten while he's been in Charlotte, and just how people are just kind of surprised. Like, I can just go up to Ron Capps. He's just walking and I can just go up to him. Like, that's the thing with this. But it was very cool. So yeah, we're excited to hopefully go back later this year. Big Duke, by the way, he's going to be covering NHRA for us on ATYL Media. Hopefully we'll get him out to a few events too. But if you guys love NHRA, I hope to still cover it here and there as much as I can. But Duke will be kind of primarily covering that too. He has a long history in drag racing as well. He's been around it practically his entire life. So excited to have him covered that. But we'll be putting out more content through this week. Some more exclusive content, some B-roll that we got that was super cool, exclusive moments that we were able to capture. But yeah, so be on the lookout for that this week. We'll also kind of have like a mini vlog, or at least I'll put out a reel kind of about our experience, what we saw, what we did, and all those sort of things. But 3 days of racing. And I will tell you, just even standing by the starting line today, it still didn't get old. It doesn't get old. You never get used to it.
Sure doesn't.
All right, everybody. Well, that'll do it for us here at ATYL Media on Above the Yellow Line. But thank you all so much for tuning in. Hopefully you had at least a good time watching Talladega. I know we talked through some of the pros and cons of it, but yeah, pretty good stream. I suck at closing these streams out. I'm sorry, you guys.
Hey, you're doing this.
That's good.
It's been a long weekend.
It's been a long weekend. It's been a long weekend. But thank you all for tuning in. Of course, I want to one more time mention the giveaway that we have going on that ends the last day of April between Happy Hour Racing and Benzik Designs. If you go to www.abovetheyellowline.com/giveaway, you can learn how to enter and how you could potentially win some of these Benzik Designs 3D printed stamps. So make sure to check that out. But we want to thank you all so much again for tuning in to this live stream. We'll be back at it with normal episodes of Above the Yellow Line next weekend. But thank you all for tuning in. And I guess we'll see you live on Wednesday for the ATYL live show. But for myself, Dom Joseph, Adam Lucas, thank you all so much. Have a great night. Bye.